Los Angeles has been at the center of the immigrant protest movement. 500,000 hit the streets here a couple of weeks ago. Today, many were out protesting again, and we were there to cover them. In the sea of faces out there, we wanted to hear one story, and it is a remarkable saga, a family story. Outside the historic La Placita Church in the heart of Los Angeles this evening, thousands of immigrants and their supporters gathered in solidarity and prayer. It was cold and gray, but they came anyway and set off on a march through downtown LA with a simple message: they are America too. And just as in all the crowds of protesters across the country today, each individual, each family here has a story of struggle and subterfuge, of pride and shame, of hard work, hard choices, and dreams. Are you surprised that there is this protest movement erupting now in the country?
No, I think it was about time.
The Echeverria family of Los Angeles marched today too, and they shared their remarkable story. 2 decades ago, the Echeverrias left El Salvador, then torn by a brutal civil war, and came to Los Angeles. They came here illegally. The family has lived for 17 years in this one-bedroom apartment. Maria, who has cleaned houses since she came to America. Misael, who works in a restaurant. Jaime, the younger son, an Army veteran now working at UPS. And Will, who teaches middle school math at an LA charter school. We spoke with Will at a popular Mexican restaurant in East Los Angeles. So, when you crossed the border at the age of 7, where did you cross? How did you cross?
Through the California-Mexican border. We didn't know what the trip was going to be like. We just knew that we were going to be reunited with my mom. We did get detained at the border. And we ended up being in a detention center for 2 weeks. So at the age of 7, being in a detention center, pretty much like a jail.
But they persevered, and they made it to Los Angeles. Maria was determined to see her sons get the education she never had, and Will especially excelled in school.
I did pretty well. It only took me about 2 years to be able to be mainstream into all English. By the 5th grade, I was tested into the gifted program. In 6th grade, I was in with the rest of them. I was a regular 6th grader.
But he and his brother and mother and father were all still undocumented, illegal immigrants. Today, they're all legal residents after benefiting from a 1997 law. But the experience of living in this country's shadows clearly scarred Will Echeverria, who rarely told friends of his status. So you didn't share it with a lot of people?
No. It was something that I thought was shameful. That wasn't something that was acceptable. I mean, this is not something that I learned from my family. This is something that I saw around me. I grew up hearing the words wetback, and you don't deserve to be here, and you're illegal. And even though they might not have known that they were speaking directly to me, they were.
So today, you're an American who was born in El Salvador.
Yes.
Where are your loyalties?
Where am I what?
Loyalties.
To both countries. I still have a very, my roots are in El Salvador. Most of my dad's family is in El Salvador. I try to go back at least once a year. And it's because whenever I go back, I feel like I'm at home with my family there, and just all the memories come back.
You feel like you're at home there?
Yes. But this is also my home. So I'm split between 2 worlds.
Do you love this country?
I do. This country has given me a lot of opportunities which my country would not have been able to give me. But it hasn't been that easy. It's been a very, very hard struggle to face the kind of struggles that you face as an undocumented immigrant and as an undocumented student.
How so?
I did very well for myself in high school. Got very good grades. Grades that deserved acceptance into a good university. So I did get accepted into 2 very good universities, to UCLA and UC Berkeley. And I was on my way to Berkeley to become an engineer when I graduated from high school. And because of my legal status, I was unable to receive any sort of financial aid to pay for school.
Instead of Berkeley or UCLA, Will Echeverria attended a local community college and finished his degree at Loyola Marymount University. His younger brother Jaime is a success story too. He joined the Army and served a year in Iraq. Maria, who grew depressed and lost weight while Jaime was overseas in harm's way, now speaks with pride of what her son has done for her adopted nation.
Estoy muy orgullosa de mi hijo, Jaime.
I'm proud of my son Jaime. For me, he's a hero because he went to defend his country and because he went to Iraq.
A house cleaner, a restaurant cook, a soldier, a math teacher, one immigrant family, one of the hundreds of thousands of families in the crowds of protesters out there. They came here illegally, but they say they are on their way to becoming Americans. People are going to be watching you, and they're going to be saying, he seems like a nice guy, obviously bright. He still doesn't belong in our country because he came here illegally. There are people who will say that.
I am now a lawful permanent resident. And that was a process also, because I knew that this was the place that I was going to spend the rest of my life at.
And you'll become an American citizen.
And I'll become an American citizen.
A lot of people look at you and your family and they say, you aren't real Americans, not just because you came here illegally, as they would say. You look different. You talk a different language. And they're afraid that you'll either change this country or not really become what they might think of as traditional Americans. You're different.
And I mean, that's their opinion, and I would like to, maybe hear a little bit more about what they think an American looks like, or what they think now an American is. Because I think that it's changing. It's changing. The face of America is changing.
Will Echeverria's next goal is to get a PhD in math education so that he can teach others how to teach math. And that's the great debate over immigration today. And now to my co-anchor, Cynthia McFadden, who's in New York with some big breaking news in the Duke University lacrosse team scandal. Cynthia?
Good evening. That's right, Terry. Just ahead on Nightline, there's no match. A bombshell in the Duke University rape investigation as the players' lawyers come out swinging. And bad